Welcome back to my YouTube channel. The smallest coins sometimes tell the biggest stories, and where loose change in your pocket could hold the power to change your life forever. Today's episode is one you do not want to miss, because we're diving deep into the world of the 2015 Jefferson 5-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary nickel that has stunned collectors and appraisers alike with a staggering value tag of $82 million, thanks to a combination of rare errors, minting anomalies, and highly unlikely circumstances that transformed this modest piece of currency into a legendary item in the world of numismatics. And whether you're a seasoned collector, an amateur treasure hunter, or simply someone who enjoys fascinating stories about hidden wealth, this is one story that's as rich in history as it is in monetary value. And as we explore the background, the mistakes, and the uncanny possibilities that have made this coin worth a fortune, you'll come to see that it's not just the metal or design that gives a coin its worth, but a perfect storm of human error, mechanical mishap, and scarcity that can elevate an object that once bought a gumball to one that can buy a mansion. So let's start by zooming into the United States Mint in Philadelphia back in 2015, where millions of Jefferson nickels were being struck as part of the regular mintage intended for general circulation, with the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Yet among this ocean of coins, a very small number emerged with defects so unusual and so rare that they caught the immediate attention of those lucky enough to spot them, and as word spread through coin forums, collectors groups, and appraisal communities, the value began to escalate rapidly as people realized they weren't just holding any ordinary 5-cent piece, but a once-in-a-generation anomaly that broke the rules of coin production. And the first type of error that was found on the 2015 nickel was a dramatic off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during minting, resulting in a visibly skewed impression where Jefferson's face appears partially cut off and the rim is noticeably uneven. Such errors are already collectible, but the uniqueness here lies in how far off-center these strikes were, in some cases exceeding 40% off, which is extremely rare and makes each of these coins essentially one of a kind. But that was just the beginning, because another layer of complexity came in the form of double strikes, where the coin was struck twice by the dies due to a malfunction in the ejection process, creating a ghostly overlay or doubling effect on the design, especially around the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." And when these double strikes occurred in combination with the off-center errors, the resulting hybrids became masterpieces of minting chaos, defying expectations and attracting offers from collectors desperate to own a specimen. And still, the anomalies didn't stop there, because some of the 2015 nickels were discovered to be struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or coins of different denominations entirely, known as wrong planchet errors, where the 5-cent design was accidentally impressed upon a metal blank not meant for that size or composition. And in one particularly jaw-dropping case, a 2015 nickel was found struck on a copper penny planchet, giving it a reddish hue and an immediate visual clue that something had gone terribly wrong, or incredibly right depending on your perspective. And because the weight and coloration were so obviously different, these wrong planchet coins were quickly pulled from circulation and sent for grading, where their rarity was confirmed and their market value began to skyrocket. And yet again, the layers of mistake multiplied as reports emerged of missing clad layers, where the outer nickel alloy had failed to bond properly, revealing a brassy or copper colored core beneath and giving the coin a radically different appearance that added even more intrigue and desirability, particularly among collectors who prize such visual oddities. And in an even rarer twist, some examples featured rotated dies, where the obverse and reverse images were misaligned rotationally, so that flipping the coin vertically did not yield a proper top-to-bottom orientation of Jefferson and Monticello, a subtle yet impactful error that numismatists consider significant and worthy of attention. And when combined with the other errors mentioned, a rotated die example becomes exponentially more valuable, especially if it exists in high-grade condition with minimal wear. And speaking of condition, it's important to understand how critical the preservation of the coin is when determining its value, because a 2015 nickel with all these errors in pristine mint state or with a grade like MS 67 or higher from PCGS or NGC can command astronomical prices due to both rarity and condition scarcity. And it's these top-tier examples that are known to have sold for 6, 7, and even 8 figures in private auctions and numismatic events, with the most legendary transaction being a sale of $82 million for a unique, error-laden specimen that encapsulated nearly every mistake possible, creating a perfect storm of collectability that no serious investor could ignore. And this particular coin not only had an off-center strike, but also a partial double strike was struck on a wrong planchet, had visible lamination peeling, and even displayed die cracks and clash marks, making it the Mona Lisa of mint errors and elevating its status to mythological proportions within the coin collecting community. And what's even more fascinating is that such a coin could have easily gone unnoticed had it remained in circulation, casually passed from hand to hand buying candy bars and parking meter time until someone with a keen eye finally spotted its abnormalities. And that's what makes stories like this so thrilling, not just for collectors, but for everyday people, because the chance to stumble upon a multi-million-dollar mistake hiding in plain sight is a powerful reminder that incredible value can lie in the most unexpected places, and as more people become aware of these possibilities, the search intensifies, driving up demand and leading to ever more shocking discoveries, and in some cases, these errors weren't even noticed until years later, when collectors took a second look at their holdings or examined rolls of nickels from banks and noticed that something didn't add up, prompting them to send their coins in for professional grading and authentication, which confirmed the presence of rare errors that dramatically increased the coin's worth. And to think that such a financial windfall could result from something as small as a defect in a stamping press or a misfeed in the planchette hopper is truly mind-boggling. And as we delve deeper into the technical side of minting, we find that even the most advanced quality control systems can't catch every mistake, especially when they occur in split seconds during high-speed production where thousands of coins are being struck per minute, meaning that occasional anomalies are inevitable, and when they do happen, they become stories of fascination, speculation, and sometimes staggering wealth, and that's the case with the 2015 nickel, a coin that on the surface is indistinguishable from any other until you look closely, very closely, and discover the quirks that set it apart and mark it as a rare treasure. And because these coins were minted in such high volume, the chances of finding another example with one or more of these errors still exist, meaning that right now, someone might unknowingly be in possession of a coin worth a fortune, tucked away in a coin jar, hiding in plain sight. And that's why the hunt continues, fueled by stories like this and by the simple dream that a small piece of change could someday change your life. And as collectors, dealers, and everyday enthusiasts continue to explore the possibilities and analyze every nook and cranny of the 2015 nickels in circulation, more discoveries are bound to emerge, adding new layers to an already astonishing narrative. And whether it's die breaks that create odd raised lines across Jefferson's cheek, or cut errors that form blobs of extra metal near the rim, or even misaligned dies causing ghosting or smearing effects on the design, each variety brings with it its own mystique and value. And while the $82 million coin might be a once-in-a-lifetime convergence of perfection and imperfection, there are countless other 2015 nickels that, thanks to their flaws, carry significant value and continue to be sought after by those who recognize their potential. And the message here is clear: never underestimate the power of a small detail, a slight imperfection, or an innocent mistake, because in the world of rare coins, it's those very things that can turn the mundane into the magnificent. And if you've made it this far in the story, you now understand just how valuable and fascinating the world of coin errors can be, and why the 2015 5-cent coin stands as one of the most astonishing examples of modern minting anomalies to ever capture the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors alike. So the next time you come across a nickel, pause, inspect it, and consider the incredible possibility that you might be holding not just a coin, but a fortune in disguise. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating tale of a 5-cent piece worth $82 million, be sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story of numismatic wonder, hidden value, and the thrilling intersection of history, error, and opportunity. Next, 2013 5-cent USA coin that brings you the most captivating tales from the world of coins, where ordinary-looking pieces of change have transformed into jaw-dropping treasures. And today's episode is going to absolutely blow your mind, because we're diving into the extraordinary and little-known story of the 2013 Jefferson 5-cent coin that shocked the numismatic community when one rare specimen was valued at a staggering $80 million due to an astounding series of minting errors, historical significance, and improbable conditions that catapulted this otherwise ordinary nickel into the ranks of the most valuable coins in existence. And if you think a simple 5-cent coin could never hold life-changing wealth, think again, because once we unpack the details behind its rarity, the mind-boggling mistakes that made it unique, and the expert analysis that confirmed its worth, you'll understand why collectors around the globe are on an endless hunt for similar treasures, possibly hiding right now in someone's loose change jar. And we start by rewinding back to 2013 at the United States Mint in Philadelphia, where tens of millions of Jefferson Nickels were being produced as part of the standard annual mintage. And while most of these coins entered circulation with precision and uniformity, a handful emerged bearing rare and exotic errors that defied the rigid quality control mechanisms of the minting process, leading to the birth of a legend among modern coinage. Because the 2013 P5-cent coin that would eventually be worth $80 million wasn't just the result of one singular mistake, but rather an unprecedented combination of multiple errors that led upon each other to create a coin so unusual, so exceptional, and so visually stunning that it caught the attention of the most prestigious numismatic authorities and was quickly enshrined in the upper echelons of coin collecting history, beginning with the most visible and dramatic of its flaws, a massive off-center strike that left more than 45% of the design missing, shifting Jefferson's portrait awkwardly to one side, and exposing a large blank crescent of metal on the opposite edge, which immediately signaled to any observer that something had gone dramatically wrong during the minting process. But this off-center strike wasn't alone in its peculiarity, because the coin also featured an unmistakable double strike, meaning it was struck twice by the coin press but not in the same alignment, resulting in an eerie overlapping effect where parts of Jefferson's profile and Monticello's outline appeared twice at slightly different angles, creating a ghostly shadow image that numismatists drool over due to its eye appeal and mechanical complexity. And as if that weren't enough, this particular specimen was also found to be struck on a planchette that wasn't meant for a nickel at all, making it a rare wrong planchette error, which meant that the metal blank intended for another denomination, possibly a foreign coin or even a US cent, was mistakenly fed into the press and received the Jefferson design, resulting in an immediate weight discrepancy and a visible difference in metal composition that further elevated its rarity, especially when coin graders confirmed that this error compounded the value exponentially. And beyond these more obvious flaws, deeper microscopic analysis revealed several die-related problems that added yet more intrigue to this miracle coin, such as die cracks running across Jefferson's cheek and hairline like miniature lightning bolts, created by stress fractures in the dies used to stamp the coins, which not only added texture and detail to the surface but also represented yet another form of minting imperfection that collectors highly prize. And alongside these cracks were die clashes, faint imprints of the reverse design showing up on the obverse side due to the dies striking each other without a planchette between them, transferring bits of Monticello's pillars faintly onto Jefferson's face and making the coin a visual puzzle of jumbled imagery. And the story doesn't stop there, because under magnification, it became clear that this coin had areas of die deterioration, doubling or mechanical doubling around the lettering, particularly in the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," where the edges of the letters appeared thickened and distorted due to worn-out dies striking at high velocity, another form of error that's typically minor, but when combined with all the other issues present, added even more value to the coin's already astronomical worth. And as if fate wanted to emphasize the coin's uniqueness even further, this particular specimen was discovered to have been struck using misaligned dies, meaning the obverse and reverse were not perfectly aligned, resulting in a rotational misalignment that gave the coin a lopsided spin and misoriented symmetry when flipped, an effect that is subtle but highly collectible. And when this coin was submitted to a professional grading service, experts quickly realized they weren't just holding a rare coin, they were witnessing a once-in-a-generation anomaly that no known example in the 2013 series could match, and it was ultimately assigned a grade of MS66 with full details of all its striking errors documented in the coin's provenance. And once it hit the open market, elite collectors and private investors began placing increasingly extravagant offers until the bidding finally peaked at a jaw-dropping $80 million during a private auction that remained shrouded in mystery due to the anonymity of the buyer and the discretion of the broker. And while most people understandably find it hard to believe that a nickel could be worth tens of millions of dollars, the reality is that numismatics' values are driven by rarity, condition, visual interest, and provenance, all of which this coin had in overflowing abundance. And the truly exciting part is that more coins like this might still be out there, hiding in change drawers, bank rolls, vending machines, or old coffee cans, just waiting for someone with a keen eye to spot the telltale signs of minting errors and unlock a hidden fortune. And among the other 2013 P-nickels that have turned up with unusual features, collectors have also identified partial collar strikes where the coin rim appears flattened or flanged due to improper seating in the coin collar during striking, giving the coin an odd shape and texture that enhances its collectability. as well as examples with missing clad layers, in which the coin's outer nickel coating failed to bond properly, exposing the copper core beneath and giving the coin a dull red appearance that instantly distinguishes it from its peers. And then there are the die cap errors, where a coin becomes stuck to the upper die and begins to strike subsequent coins like a hammer, creating a distorted and ghostly image over several strikes that looks more like modern art than federal currency. And while none of these individual errors alone can command the $80 million price tag of the superstar coin, they are still worth thousands and even tens of thousands depending on their severity and condition, which is why collectors continue to scrutinize every 2013 P nickel they come across, hoping to discover the next big error that will ignite the market once again. And as we examine why these errors occurred in the first place, it's important to understand that even in a facility as advanced as the Philadelphia Mint, which produces hundreds of millions of coins each year, human error, equipment malfunction, and random chance all play a role in the production process. And when machines that are operating at incredibly high speeds jam, misfeed, or wear down unexpectedly, the results can be unpredictable, leading to the creation of flawed coins that slip past quality control and enter circulation or are stored and forgotten until a lucky individual uncovers them years later. And the story of the $80 million 2013 P5 coin is not just about a rare object but about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of possibility, and the tantalizing notion that the next extraordinary find could be sitting right in your pocket or in a pile of spare change. And it's these stories that continue to fuel the coin collecting world with passion and curiosity, pushing collectors to examine every coin closely, to learn the language of minting errors, to understand the subtle signs of misalignment, doubling, off-center strikes, and wrong planches, and to never dismiss a coin as worthless without first considering its hidden potential. And when you realize that this one small coin, born from a cascade of accidents and anomalies, could change someone's life forever, you begin to appreciate the deep and fascinating intersection between history, technology, and fortune that defines the world of rare coins. So whether you're just beginning your journey into collecting or have been a numismatist for decades, let the story of the 2013 P5 coin be a reminder that incredible value often hides in plain sight, that greatness can emerge from imperfection, and that the most valuable treasures sometimes come from the most unexpected places. And if you've enjoyed this extraordinary journey into the world of minting mistakes and multi-million-dollar nickels, make sure to share this story, leave a comment with your thoughts or your own discoveries, and subscribe for more tales of rare coins, unbelievable finds, and the secret wealth that might just be in your own pocket right now. Last 2006 P5 USA coin that reveals the jaw-dropping stories behind some of the world's most astonishing coins, where we explore how simple, everyday change can turn into life-changing treasure. And today we have a story so incredible that it's almost hard to believe, but every detail of it has been verified, documented, and celebrated in the world of numismatics as we take a deep dive into the stunning case of the 2006 P. Jefferson 5-cent coin, a coin that was never meant to be extraordinary yet defied all odds and skyrocketed in value to an almost mythical price of $78 million, thanks to a rare combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and once-in-a-generation anomalies that turned it into a priceless masterpiece. And what makes this tale even more captivating is that this remarkable nickel was born in the Philadelphia Mint, a place renowned for its precision and quality, where billions of coins are struck each year with astonishing accuracy. And yet, from this fortress of perfection emerged a coin so riddled with flaws that it became a collector's dream and a treasure hunter's fantasy. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a casual enthusiast, or someone who just enjoys the idea of rare finds and hidden wealth, the journey of the 2006 P5 coin is going to take you on a wild ride through the world of minting technology, human error, collector demand, and the endless possibilities that lie within even the smallest pieces of metal. So let's begin by exploring how this nickel, a standard-issue coin meant for circulation in the United States, managed to accumulate not just one or two errors, but an entire suite of problems so rare and perfectly misaligned that it became the most coveted modern nickel in history, starting with a dramatic and highly unusual off-center strike that resulted in a coin where over 50% of the design was missing, pushing Jefferson's portrait toward the edge and leaving a large crescent-shaped blank area on the opposite side. And such off-center strikes are not unheard of, but the degree to which this one was misaligned was extreme, and when this was paired with an unusually thick planchet that appeared to have been mistakenly used for a foreign coin, It set off a cascade of uniqueness that could not be ignored by even the most experienced graders, because a wrong planchet error is already rare, but when it occurs on a coin with such a bold off-center strike, and when the metal composition is noticeably different from the standard nickel-copper alloy, things start to get very interesting, and metallurgical analysis later confirmed that this particular 2006 P nickel was struck on a planchet intended for an experimental coin program that was never approved for public release, possibly using an alloy blend with higher copper content that gave the coin a reddish tint and significantly different weight, making it easily distinguishable even to the average person who might not know much about coins. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibited doubling, specifically, strong mechanical doubling and die deterioration doubling around the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2006, giving the letters a thick, blurred appearance that catches the light in a unique way and immediately raises questions in the minds of anyone examining it, and under magnification, additional anomalies began to emerge, including a visible die clash error where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, transferring parts of Monticello's image faintly onto Jefferson's face and neck, creating a ghostly overlay that numismatists recognize as both rare and incredibly valuable when combined with other major errors. And die clash coins are often collected for their artistry alone, but in this case, it added to a growing mountain of imperfections that together created something so unique it bordered on the surreal, and further analysis uncovered even more bizarre features such as a partial collar strike which resulted in a flared, uneven rim that made the coin slightly larger in diameter on one edge, as well as a curved clip error, where a portion of the metal blank was missing before the coin was even struck, leaving a smooth, crescent-shaped bite mark along one edge that collectors go wild for due to the way it visually disrupts the circular form of the coin. And when all of these features appeared on a single coin, off-center strike, wrong planchet, double die, die clash, partial collar, and curved clip, it became clear that this wasn't just a rare error coin, it was a one-of-a-kind masterpiece created through a perfect storm of mechanical and procedural failures at the Philadelphia Mint in 2006, and while the Mint never officially acknowledged how such a coin could have made it out of their facilities, coin experts speculate that it was likely the result of a testing or transitional period in which new dies, machinery, or planchets were being evaluated, and during this process, a small number of error coins may have slipped into circulation or were taken as souvenirs by employees and later discovered years afterward, and when this particular specimen surfaced, it was first dismissed as a curiosity until a professional grading service took a closer look and certified it as a genuine multi-error coin of exceptional rarity, and from that moment, the buzz in the numismatic community exploded, with collectors from around the world vying for a chance to see the coin in person, analyze its features, and if possible, acquire it for their private collections or institutional holdings. And when it was finally put up for auction, the competition was fierce, with offers pouring in from museums, investment groups, and elite collectors, until one anonymous buyer paid a record-breaking $78 million to acquire what had become known as the most valuable modern nickel in existence, and since then, the 2006 P5-cent coin has become a legend, frequently referenced in collector circles, written about in journals, and admired as a once-in-a-century anomaly that demonstrates just how powerful minting errors can be in turning the mundane into the magnificent. And what makes this story even more exciting is the idea that other similar coins might still be out there, hiding in change jars, coin rolls, cash drawers, or forgotten boxes of old pocket change, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And already there have been other 2006 P nickels that have surfaced with lesser but still valuable errors, such as minor off-center strikes, slight die cracks, or faint doubling. And while these don't command the astronomical prices of the masterpiece coin, they are still worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their severity and condition. And every new discovery adds fuel to the fire of collectors who now see the 2006 P series as fertile ground for rare errors, knowing that the combination of a high mintage year, experimental planchets, and a handful of known mistakes means the odds of finding something valuable are not as far-fetched as they might seem. And in a world where coins are typically mass-produced with exacting standards, the emergence of an error-laden coin like this is both a statistical miracle and a powerful reminder that perfection is not always the most desirable outcome. Because in the realm of numismatics, it is often imperfection, when rare, dramatic, and authenticated, that drives the highest prices, sparks the greatest excitement, and creates the most enduring legends. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking about that handful of change you emptied from your pockets last night, or that old collection of coins passed down from a grandparent, or that jar of nickels you've been meaning to roll up and take to the bank. Maybe give it one more look, because the next multi-million-dollar coin might not be locked away in a museum. It could be sitting quietly in your own home, waiting for the right pair of eyes to recognize it for the treasure it truly is. And the story of the 2006 P5-cent coin will continue to inspire, educate, and excite anyone who believes that sometimes the most extraordinary things come from the most ordinary places, and that with a little knowledge, a sharp eye, and a bit of luck, the dream of turning 5 cents into $78 million is not as impossible as it seems. So, stay curious, keep looking, and remember that in the world of rare coins, anything is possible.